My parents ignored me my whole life and spoiled my brother. Now they're demanding I pay $240,000 for his Ivy League tuition, because I'm the successful one. Hello Reddit I plus here. I am 32. My younger brother, let us call him Caleb, is 24. Growing up in our house was like watching two different families live under one roof. There was the golden child experience reserved exclusively for him, and then there was whatever I was living through. From the moment Caleb was born, my parents decided the sun rose and set for him. I was the kid who packed my own lunches by middle school, took city buses to school by high school, and learned quickly that "we do not have the money for that" meant me specifically. Meanwhile, Caleb got private gymnastics, piano, specialized test prep tutors, every new gaming console the week it released, and a parade of "Caleb deserves it. He is gifted" speeches. They attended every one of his events with matching t-shirts. I played 3 sports and no one showed up once. When college rolled around, I was told very calmly at 18 that I was independent now. No savings account, no college fund, nothing. I lived at home, commuted to a community college, worked 2 part-time jobs, transferred to a state university, worked more, graduated tired and broke, and then worked until my loans were gone. Meanwhile, Caleb had the red carpet. Private high school paid in full, out-of-state university paid in full, living stipend, study abroad, new car as a congratulations on graduating gift. Fast forward to now. I finally have a great job. I worked my way into tech, paid my loans off, bought a small condo, and built actual stability. And 2 months ago, my parents sat me down for what they called a family conversation. They beamed with pride, told me Caleb got into an Ivy League MBA program. Great. I genuinely was happy for him. Then my mom cleared her throat and slid a printed packet toward me like I was signing mortgage paperwork. They wanted me to pay the tuition, not help, not contribute, fully pay. $240,000. My mom smiled and said something like, "Think of it as investing in Caleb's future. Once he finishes, he will have a high-paying job and he will pay you back. This is about building wealth for the family." My dad chimed in with his favorite line. "You struggled so you could be strong. Caleb should not have to go through what you went through." I sat there stunned. They never helped me. They made it very clear they would not. Now suddenly education is a family investment thing. I told them no. Calm. Firm. No. My mother burst into tears immediately. She told me I was jealous. My dad accused me of punishing Caleb for being younger. Caleb called me later saying I was holding him back and that I should want to support his dreams. Then the real circus began. Silent treatment, mass texting, extended family calling saying, "Family helps family." A cousin posting, "Some people forget who raised them," quotes online. Then my parents showed up at my condo uninvited with Caleb standing behind them like a sad statue. My mom cried in my living room. My dad tried to negotiate like he was pitching a business deal. Caleb quietly said I was ruining everything. They even offered to sign papers, saying someday they would pay me back. As if their signatures ever meant anything before. I told them again. This is not about the money. This is about decades of being treated like a spare part while Caleb was the prized heir. I told him there are loans, fellowships, employer sponsorships, and the option of working and saving like the rest of us mortals. They left angry. And for a while, I thought that was the end. It was not. 3 months passed. Silence from my parents and Caleb, then chaos. A certified letter arrived at my place. Inside was a document listing every investment they ever made in me. Housing until 18, a used car when I was a teenager, shoes, food, gas money, random gifts. They totaled it to about $50,000. They literally tried to invoice me for existing, so they could justify forcing me to pay Caleb's tuition. I laughed at first. Then I realized they had actually hired a lawyer to format that nonsense. My partner, who has the patience of a saint, wanted me to get a lawyer. I decided to ignore it. Bad call. 2 weeks later, I got pulled into HR at work because someone emailed my company accusing me of being financially dishonest and potentially stealing from family members. They forwarded the ridiculous letter as proof. Thankfully, my boss and HR believed me. But it was humiliating to sit in a corporate conference room explaining that my parents were trying to extort me emotionally. Then I discovered my mother created a crowdfunding page for Caleb. The post basically painted him as a brilliant, disadvantaged young man from a struggling home and suggested that his awful older sibling refused to help him out of bitterness. Relatives I had not spoken to since childhood were donating. People from church were sharing it. I reported it. It eventually came down. The reputation damage stayed. Family I used to love looked at me different. But then the unexpected happened. One person in the family actually asked for my side of the story. My aunt. We talked for hours. I told her everything. The favoritism, the neglect, the pressure, the expectation for me to sacrifice simply because I managed to survive being ignored. She believed me. Turns out she had noticed things for years. She started quietly correcting people in the family who were trash-talking me. She talked to cousins. She confronted my mother. Word spread. And suddenly, silence. No calls, no guilt trips, no dramatic speeches. Just quiet. 6 months have passed. Caleb deferred his MBA. He is working now, which is something he has never actually had to do before. My parents are deeply disappointed in me and have basically placed themselves in time out, expecting me to crawl back. I am not crawling. Something strange happened through this. For the first time in my life, I stopped feeling like the unwanted kid begging to be chosen. I stopped trying to prove I deserved basic respect. I stopped making myself small. Do I wish my parents were different? Yes. Do I feel guilty? No. I refused to light myself on fire so Caleb could stay warm. And if that makes me selfish in their story, so be it. I have finally started writing my own. Just when I thought the dust had finally settled, my parents found a new strategy. They invited me to a family dinner at my uncle's place. He told me it was just a normal get-together, nothing serious. I believed him. Big mistake. I walked in and immediately realized it was an ambush. Nearly the entire extended family was there, and the energy in the room felt off. Half the people avoided eye contact. The other half looked at me like I had committed a crime. My mother was sitting in the center of the living room with tissues already clutched in her hand. My father was standing beside her like some tragic monument. Caleb sat in the corner, silent, staring at the floor. My uncle cleared his throat and announced that we were here to heal the family. Then the guilt parade began. My mother started crying about how she lies awake every night terrified that Caleb's future is being destroyed and that no parent should have to watch one child ruin another's life. My father talked about sacrifices, legacy, honor, loyalty, and every dramatic word he could think of. Then they went lower. My mother pulled out photos. Me as a baby, me in kindergarten, me at 12. She held them up like evidence in a court trial and sobbed about how she loved me, just as much as Caleb. She said I was breaking her heart by choosing money over blood. She told everyone that she failed as a mother because she raised such a cold child. People stared at me, waiting for me to break. Then my father announced that they had come up with a compromise. Instead of paying the full tuition, they wanted me to pay half and co-sign massive loans for the rest. He said it like it was generous. Caleb finally spoke and said he forgave me for everything if I just helped him now. Forgave me for not being his bank. I felt everyone watching, waiting for me to crumble, waiting for that emotional surrender. Instead, I told them I was done. I said this was not healing. This was manipulation covered in family theatrics. I told them I saw through the staged tears, the dramatic presentation, the emotional blackmail. I said if they ever wanted a relationship with me again, it had to start with an apology, not a bill. Silence. Absolute silence. Then my mother whispered, "If you walk out, do not come back into this family." So I walked out. 2 cousins followed me outside. One hugged me. The other apologized for being part of the setup. Later that night, my aunt called again and said she was proud of me for not folding. Right now, my parents are telling everyone I chose pride over family. Caleb is pretending to be devastated. Some relatives have distanced themselves from me. Others quietly reached out to say they understand. I am still sad, still hurt, but I am also steady. Because for the first time, I refused to be the villain in their story, just so they could keep their favorite hero standing.